What a fight this is gonna be between Schmidt and the one and only Thesz, who extends the hand, but Schmidt ain't having any of it. Schmidt has no respect for his opponent. As the bell rings, this match is officially underway, and it begins with a tie-up as Thesz has Schmidt in the corner. Schmidt, billed from Munich, Germany. An absolute disgrace to this world with his Nazi-like mindset as he drives Thesz into the mat, trying to get the pinfall. But if you see where Thesz is positioned, he's doing everything he can to keep his shoulder up and push the forearm on the head to create that space. As Thesz back on his knees, trying to work his way back up to his feet. Great mat wrestling that we're seeing in the early part of this match as Schmidt has control over his opponent. And a headlock takeover by Schmidt, driving Thesz into the mat. You're getting a very close look at just how much Schmidt does not like Thesz. Not one bit. I mean, right out of the gate, it was very clear as day that Schmidt did not come to play. And the last couple minutes, it's been all Schmidt. He's been super focused, keeping Thesz driven into the mat, keeping it so close to the mat that it's hard for Thesz to create any separation that allows him to gain any offense. And it's a brilliant strategy, especially for somebody who is so technically sound inside the ring like Thesz. He's a true player in the ring, and once again, Schmidt driving Thesz into the mat. Now they're back up to their feet. Thesz, his feet touch the bottom rope, which forced that rope break. Thesz ain't ready to play games, but Schmidt leans into the corner. Here at the Chicago International Amphitheater, these two are not holding back whatsoever. It was Thesz trying to go for, I was going to say it's Thesz trying to get a headlock takeover on Schmidt, but nice dirty shot by Thesz. Thesz does not care who you are. He's going to take his shot wherever he can get it. If it's fair game, it's fair game in this best 2 out of 3 falls matchup. And again, Schmidt looks for a side headlock takeover. But I think this time, Thesz has learned from his past mistakes as Schmidt gets thrown off of Thesz and driven into the mat. And a tie-up as Thesz drives Schmidt into the corner. And a rope break is forced. But still, these two are tied up in the corner as Schmidt changes the position, driving Thesz now into the corner with a clubbing shot to the chest of Thesz, and a second one, and follows it up as Thesz falls to his knees, and a fourth. Schmidt is not holding back. Oh my God. I think the back of the head of Thesz may have hit the post. And now a headlock by Schmidt could look to put away Thesz. However, a rope break is being enforced by the official. And now they're right back at it at the tie-up. But with Thesz so close to the corner, he really truly is backed into a corner. But Thesz trying to fight back. And again, collar and elbow. Staying super close to each other. not letting the other have any space or room to breathe, to stay extremely focused on the other. Very slow, very methodical, very mat-based pro wrestling. And Thesz gets a nice shot on the left side of the midsection of Hans Schmidt. I mean, Hans Schmidt has played a few dirty tricks of his own. So don't color Lou Thesz the bad guy when he returns the favor. And now with the legs wrapped around the waist of Lou Thesz, Hans Schmidt trying to suck the air out of Thesz here in Chicago. And right back on the momentum, driving Thesz right back in, back first onto the mat, where all the weight from his left leg, the inner thigh, pushes in. And with the bottom leg leaning in on the back, it just squeezes the life out of you. The oxygen that gets forced out of your body becomes harder and harder to breathe, but Thesz is still doing his best to fight free. Nice counter here by Thesz. Great counter into a submission. That the leg now locked. What is Thesz thinking to keep the momentum going? As Thesz has the leg locked. Submission hold locked in. Has the upper body trapped. Oh, head scissor breaks free. And we're back to a standing vertical base. Oh, was looking to shoot for the leg with a fake out on Schmidt. Nice roll through of the wrist lock, but has the head scissors on Hans Schmidt, who Hans Schmidt looking to take wrist control, trying to break free as he looks to shift the momentum. Now look where Hans Schmidt is placed as he is trying to force some sort of pinfall on Thesz, but Thesz able to force Hans over. Hans, a true disgrace. Just absolute scum of the earth. But you gotta respect his in-ring ability as he keeps Thesz from trying to pull himself up, keeping Thesz grounded into the mat. Thesz trying to hype himself up, but he is trapped. There is no wiggle room whatsoever. Wait, bridging up. Oh, but gets driven right back down. Thesz able to roll through. Nice takedown, but now this time, it's right back on the waist lock. Hans Schmidt has the waist lock on Lou Thesz. Hans Schmidt always has choice words saying, watch your mouth. Driving the knee of Hans into the mat, but Hans gets right back up. Tries to shake off the knee a little bit there. And a full Nelson could put away Lou Thesz as Hans Schmidt has it locked in deep. This is not where you want to be if you're Lou Thesz. And still no fall for either man. So it's anybody's game. Oh, nice hip attack. And Lou Thesz goes right down on Hans Schmidt. Hans Schmidt is caught in this head scissor with all of the weight of Lou Thesz. Look at the way that Lou Thesz has the legs wrapped around the neck. First it was the waist lock. This is how This is truly how you break your opponent apart. Piece by piece, limb from limb, no remorse, no questions asked. Trying to pick himself up and bridges over. But right back on the head scissor was Thesz, but now they're right back up to their feet. Hans Schmidt with a slap to block the lock. Saying no close shots. We're not going to play dirty with these slaps right now. Perhaps a test of strength. Oh. In striking stance is Thesz, who's ready to take his shot. But Hans Schmidt shifting the momentum of Thesz's potential attack into the corner. And Thesz goes down. Part of Thesz was leaning on the outside of the ring, leaving it as a rope break. Oh, and a knee to the midsection. It looked a little low, but what do I know? For the first time, Thesz on the other side of the ropes as he tries to get himself back in the ring, and he does. Thesz back in the ring. We're back to square one as these two tie up. There have been a lot of restarts, a lot of tie-ups, but still nobody, neither of these two men have been able to get the upper hand on the other. You just hear the sound of those nasty shots to the chest of Thesz. Oh, nice roll through with a front chancery. That front headlock. Oh, that's a naked choke. That chokehold. The referee wasn't having any of it. Quickly to see it. Quickly to force it free. Nice snapmare from Hans Schmidt and drops the knee on the face of Thesz. Thesz fights back with a shot. Thesz gets into the ropes and the press. There it is. Down goes Hans Schmidt. Thesz gets the fall. And there it is from Thesz. Thesz able to get the fall. And you see the first fall goes to Thesz. With a reversal into a press into the mat, Hans Schmidt went down, and the arms did not come up before the three. And with Thesz being in the lead, 1-0, this is going to be an uphill battle for Hans Schmidt. The frustration settling in as Hans trying to regroup here, figuring out what he has to do to put away Thesz, because he's going to have to go overtime. He's going to have to go back to back. And with Hans Schmidt losing the first fall, here we are for our second fall as this match, this fall is underway. Oh, went for striking, but Hans Schmidt was not ready to play that game. Hans Schmidt is here to play his own game, angrily telling the ref to tell Thesz to back off. Center of the ring. Oh, was looking for that single leg takedown, trying to outfake Thesz. But it's just not gonna be that easy. And again, The mind games are being played. Oh, Hans Schmidt. Nice wrist control by Schmidt. Driving. Lou Thesz shoulder first into the mat with a hammer lock. And this is going to put a lot of weight, a lot of pressure on the shoulder of Lou Thesz. It's not a position that you want to be in whatsoever. And it could be the lead into allowing Hans Schmidt to have the opportunity to take the second fall that he desperately needs if he's going to stay in this match. Otherwise, he's going to get clean swept by Lou Thesz. And that certainly wouldn't be good for the reputation of Hans Schmidt. But I've got to be honest, I really don't think anybody would complain if Hans Schmidt is not your victor in this matchup. I can't think of one person that would complain besides Hans Schmidt if he is not victorious. Hans Schmidt again doing everything he can to keep Lou Thesz grounded into the mat. Lou Thesz tries to pull himself up, tries to create separation, but the thing is, Hans Schmidt is always right there. Nice hammerlock, but Lou Thesz works his way back up to his feet. Oh, nice back elbow. Creates and forces the separation. I was going to say creates the separation, but I think it's more suited to say that the forcing of the separation of that hammerlock rolling through. Nice display of the basics. These two are showing the best of mat wrestling with amateur backgrounds. Thesz nearing into being in pinfall territory with his back almost fully laid out on the mat. I swear, Hans Schmidt always has a lot to say. I feel like less talking and more being focused on his opponent. I understand the position that he's in right now with his headlock, keeping Lou Thesz grounded. He feels like he has extra time to say what he wants. But sometimes your words will come back to bite you. Headlock takedown again, once again, forcing Lou Thesz back into the mat. But Thesz right back up to his feet as they tie up collar and elbow. Nasty shots from Hans Schmidt to the back of Thesz. Thesz goes down. He is being absolutely bodied by Hans Schmidt. And a nasty shot. Follows it up again. That's a chokehold. Let go. And that knee drop right on the midsection. Lou Thesz, who is looking exhausted and worse for wear. However, all he's got to do is get one more fall. Luckily, he has a little bit of leeway here in this 60-minute time limit, 2 out of 3 falls matchup, being that with already picking up the first round, he's just got to get one more to put away Hans Schmidt, who is beating the life out of him right now. You see the clubbing forearms and with the knee strikes, scoops up, driving Thesz onto his back. A backbreaker to Thesz. Thesz lifted up once more for a backdrop suplex. And Thesz now laid out by Hans Schmidt. And now Hans Schmidt able to secure the second fall. We are at 1-1 apiece. However, Thesz looks worse for wear. The way he collided with that mat is not looking good. A backdrop suplex by Schmidt, the difference maker for the second round. Schmidt has got one more to go. The same for Thesz. A split second here as Thesz trying to regroup after that devastating backdrop suplex that allowed Schmidt to secure the second fall. And the thing is, with it being the NWA World Championship on the line, the stakes are high. And Thesz is not going to let this thing go easily. He is going to fight with everything he's got. And 10 seconds left. And then we can get this third and final round going. Schmidt goes right after Thesz, right on the throat, and a clubbing shot to the chest. These two just an absolute brawl in this last round, knowing that it is truly down to this. There can be no room for mistakes with the championship on the line. It's a high-stakes grab. However, is Schmidt the man for the job to put away Thesz as he nails over Thesz with a snapmare that sends the champ to the mat? And once more follows it up with another and driving the knee onto the face of Thesz. And a German suplex into a bridge. Wait, what? Oh, there it is. Thesz is one. Okay, I just want to make sure. Schmidt doesn't know that his shoulders were down underneath the bridge. Thesz was able to get the shoulder up. Thesz is still the champion. Thesz was not going to give up like that. Therefore, Thesz is still the champion.